Yeah, just in relation to mandatory hotel quarantine for all arrivals, I didn't say it wasn't an option. I said I wasn't ruling it out. So that's quite a different thing. But I did point out some of the realities of it in an Irish context. One, that it wouldn't be fully effective because of the border, and we can't impose 14-day mandatory hotel quarantine on a land border. And also, I said we have to be realistic with people. That if we were to go down that route, it would be most likely for a year or more. New Zealand only announced in the last few hours that they intended to keep their borders closed for 2021. So they aren't going to reopen to foreign travel in any meaningful way until sometime in 2022. Now, they're well behind us on the vaccine, but it does kind of speak to what I said yesterday, that if we were to go down that route, you wouldn't really be able to safely say that you're going to reopen your country until even beyond everyone's vaccinated, because we'd have to know that the vaccinations confer herd immunity. We'd have to probably get through another winter, another Christmas. Maybe it'll come to that anyway. Maybe it will be the case that international travel is not possible this summer and not possible this Christmas. But I don't think I certainly don't want to close off that possibility today. But maybe we'll have to. If you're serious about elimination, and you're serious about COVID being zero, surely it would go on for a couple of years, or maybe indefinitely, because COVID is now all around the world. It's always going to be active in some part of the world. So whenever you reopen your country, you then don't have zero COVID anymore. It then re-enters. So that is one of the problems with a zero COVID strategy or an elimination strategy, is you have to, if it's possible, it's not possible for us, but if you can seal your country off entirely, when do you ever unseal? Because then inevitably you let the virus back in again, and you expose a naive population to the virus at that point. And that's why in New Zealand they've said that they don't even intend to consider reopening to foreign travel until they vaccinated their population. They haven't even started vaccinating their population yet. So one thing that does concern me about this debate sometimes is people always want the one thing we could do that would solve it in a few months. And I think that's part of what I know both NPHET and government find a little bit frustrating about the zero COVID promise. If only you did this one thing, in 3 months we'll all be living like New Zealand. Like that's a false promise. It really is. A lot of hypotheticals here. The first hypothetical is that you have vaccinated 70-80% of your population. Then that 70-80% is enough to confer herd immunity in this virus that we've never yet seen herd immunity for before. Would you then take the risk around Christmas of allowing at that point huge numbers of people? I think you probably wouldn't. I think, let's say we did get to mass vaccination. You can't assume because everyone's vaccinated that necessarily will confer herd immunity. We don't know that yet. That's the point. And so what you would do is I think you would let very small amounts of international travel in. I don't think you would say everyone come home for Christmas now. I really don't. You
got to keep in mind as well the new complexity, which is variants. So the UK variant, we now are confident that the vaccines work on it, but we know that it's far more contagious than the strains we dealt with, the Wuhan strain, for example. The jury is still out in terms of the Brazilian variant, the South African variant, as to how exactly they may interact with the vaccines, and will the vaccines be just as effective. What the virologists are telling us is that there will inevitably be other strains popping up around the world as well. And so while we may all, and have no doubt we will achieve the requisite level of vaccination here at some point this year, it doesn't mean that it will necessarily work against other strains. And so that has to be factored into the strategies for the future.